Hey, gang. Oop. Flat Sammy's tail keeps wanting to fall off. There he is. Down there, Sue's thing. Sue, I got the 3M doohickeys to put up the squirrel picture, but I happen to think I might better wait till after the girls get here, because I may have to move my sign. I don't know where my shelves are going to go, or if we even get that far. So I'm going to wait a little bit to put it up. Nutty Buddy fell over. I worked and worked to get Rocky and Nutty Buddy to sit up here where y'all could see them. Maybe they could stay put. This is a baby blanket. Still have to give my cousin. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all, for all the little dibs and dabs of videos. I went shopping today, and I kept hitting the button to cut it off. And y'all know I can't figure out how to splice my videos together. Let me have my dabbing cloth to dab the corners of my mouth. I hate I have to do that. It's like I'm dipping snuff or something, but I promise you I'm not doing that. You know, I remember, speaking of dipping, before I forget it, a squirrel. And I know I'm already getting on to 2 minutes already. I have to keep cutting it off at 15-minute intervals because for some reason YouTube won't let me go over 15 minutes. I thought I was beyond that. Weird things are happening with YouTube. Penny, my buddy over in Heidi's Hangout, has not been able to go live all day, and we've all been going through... Oh, thanks, Lisa. Got my squirrel thing on, too. My doohickey. And my beautiful bracelet. One from the Secret Yarnery, and then this one is from, Nona's Boutique, Pam Rivers. Now, what was I saying? Oh, the 15-minute thing. So that's why I might cut this off at 15 minutes and then come back on and just have to do in 15 minutes, because then when I have to perform surgery on them and split them up, I'll lose part of it. Okay. Chapter 10 in Tom Sawyer. The solemn oath, terror brings repentance, and mental punishment. The two boys flew on and on toward the village, speechless with horror. They glanced backward over their shoulders from time to time. Remember, they were in the graveyard and getting spooked. Apprehensively, as if they feared they might be followed. Every stump that started up in their path seemed a man and an enemy, and made them catch their breath. And as they sped by some outlying cottages that lay near the village, the barking of the aroused watchdog seemed to give wings to their feet. "If we can only get to the old tannery before we break down," whispered Tom, in short catches between breaths. "I can't stand it much longer." I didn't read that first sentence. Huckleberry's hard pantings were his only reply, and the boys fixed their eyes on the goal of their hopes and bent to their work to win it. They gained steadily on it, and at last, breast to breast, they burst through the open door and fell grateful and exhausted in the sheltering shadows beyond. By and by, their pulses slowed down, and Tom whispered, "Huckleberry, what do you reckon will come of this?" "If Dr. Robinson dies, I reckon hanging will come of it." Oh, yeah, there was all the action in that last chapter. "Do you, though?" A hanging is what he's talking about. "Why, I know it, Tom." Tom thought a while, and then he said, "Who will tell? We?" "What are you talking about? Suppose something happened and Injun Joe didn't hang. Why, he'd kill us sometime or other, just as dead sure as we're a-laying here." "That's just what I was thinking to myself, Huck. If anybody tells, let Muff Potter do it. If he's fool enough, he's generally drunk enough." Tom said nothing and went on thinking. Presently he whispered, "Huck, Muff Potter don't know it. How can he tell?" What's the reason he don't know it? Because he'd just got that whack when Injun Joe done it. Do you reckon he could see anything? Do you reckon he knowed anything? By hokey, that's so, Tom. And besides, look here, maybe that whack maybe that whack done for him. Maybe, like, it killed him, I guess. No, 'tain't likely, Tom. He had liquor in him, and I could see that, and besides, he always has. Well, when Pap's full, you might take and belt him one over the head with a church. And you couldn't faze him. He says so his own self. I'm not sure what that means there, and there's nothing to tell me. So it's the same with Muff Potter, of course, but if a man was dead sober, I reckon maybe that white might fetch him. I don't know. After another reflective silence, Tom said, Hucky, you sure you can keep Mum? Tom, we gotta keep Mum. You know that. That Injun devil wouldn't make any more of drowning us and a couple of cats. As if we was to squeak about this and they didn't hang him. Now, look here, Tom. Let's take and swear to one another. That's what we gotta do. Swear to keep Mum. I'm agreed. It's the best thing. Would you just hold hands and swear that we... Oh, no, that wouldn't do for this. That's good enough for little rubbishy common things, especially with gals, 'cause they go back on you anyway and blab if you get in a huff. But there oughter be writing about a big thing like this, and blood. Tom's whole being applauded this idea. It was deep and dark and awful. The hour, the circumstances, the surroundings were in keeping with it. He picked up a clean pine shingle that lay in the moonlight, took a little fragment of red keel out of his pocket, got the moon on his work, and painfully scrawled these lines, emphasizing each slow downstroke by champing his tongue between his teeth and letting up the pressure on the upstrokes. And it says, in cursive, Huck, right there it is, Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer swears they will keep Mum about this, and they wish they may drop down dead in their tracks if they ever tell, and rot. Huckleberry was filled with admiration of Tom's facility in writing and the sublimity of his language. He at once took a pen from his lapel and was going to prick his flesh, but Tom said, Hold on, don't do that. A pen's brass. It might have verdigrease on it. What's verdigrease? And it says here in the notes, it says spelled, it's supposed to be verdigris, which is V-E-R-D-I-G-R-I-S, but it's like a French word. The greenish deposit that forms on brass or copper, and it can be poisonous. It's poison, that's what it is. You just swallow some of it once and you'll see. So Tom unwound the thread from one of his needles, and each boy pricked the ball of his thumb and squeezed out a drop of blood. In time, after many squeezes, Tom managed to sign his initials using the ball of his little finger for a pen. Then he showed Huckleberry how to make an H and an F. And the oath was complete. They buried the shingle close to the wall with some dismal ceremonies and incantations, and the fetters that bound their tongues were considered to be locked and the key thrown away. A figure crept stealthily through a break in the other end of the ruined building now, but they did not notice it. Tom, whispered Huckleberry, does this keep us from ever telling always? Of course it does. It don't make any difference what happens. We gotta keep Mum. We'd drop down dead, don't you know that? Yeah, I reckon that's so. They continued to whisper for some little time. Presently a dog set up a long, laborious howl just outside, within 10 feet of them. The boys clasped each other suddenly in an agony of fright. Which of us does he mean? Gasped Huckleberry. I don't know. Peep through the crack, quick. No, you, Tom. I can't do it, Huck. Please, Tom, there it is again. Oh, Lordy, I'm thankful, whispered Tom. I know his voice. It's Bull Harbinson. Oh, that's good. I tell you, Tom, I was almost scared to death. I'd have bet anything it was a stray dog. The dog howled again, and the boy's heart sank once more. Oh, my. That ain't no Bull Harbinson, whispered Huckleberry. Do, Tom. Tom, quaking with fear, yielded and put his eye to the crack. His whisper was hardly audible when he said, "Oh, Huck, it's a stray dog." "Quick, Tom, quick! Who does he mean?" "Huck, he must mean us both were right together." "Oh, Tom, I reckon we're goners. I reckon there ain't no mistake about where I'll go to. I've been so wicked." "Dad, fetch it." "Dad, fetch it." This comes of playing hooky and doing everything a feller's told not to do. I might have been good like Sid if I'd tried, but no, I wouldn't, of course. But if ever I get off this time, I lay I'll just waller in Sunday schools. And Tom began to sniffle a little bit. "You bad?" said Huckleberry, began to sniffle too. "Confound it, Tom Sawyer, you're just old pie alongside of what I am. Oh, Lordy, 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 I wish I only half had your chance." Tom choked off and whispered, "Look, Hucky, look. He's got his back to us." Hucky looked with joy in his heart. "Well, he has, by jingoes. Did he before?" "Yes, he did, but I, like a fool, never thought. Oh, this is bully, you know. Now who can he mean?" The howling stopped, and Tom pricked up his ears. "Shh! What's that?" he whispered. "Sounds like hogs grunting." "No, it's somebody snoring, Tom." "That's it. Whereabouts is it, Huck?" "I believe it's down at t'other end. Sounds so, anyway. Pap used to sleep there sometimes, along with the hogs, but laws bless you, he just lifts things when he snores. Besides, I reckon he ain't ever coming back to this town anymore." The spirit of adventure rose in the boys' souls once more. "Hucky, do you dast to go if I lead?" "I don't like to much, Tom. S'pose it's Injun Joe." Tom quailed, but presently the temptation rose up strong again, and the boys agreed to try, with the understanding that they would take to their heels if the snoring stopped. So they went tiptoeing stealthily down, the one behind the other. When they got to within 5 steps of the snorer, Tom stepped on a stick, and it broke with a sharp snap. The man moaned, writhed a little, and his face came into the moonlight. It was Muff Potter. The boys' hearts had stood still, and their hopes too, when the man moved, but their fears passed away now. They tiptoed out through the broken weatherboarding and stopped at a little distance to exchange a parting word. That long, laborious howl rose on the night air again. They turned and saw the strange dog standing within a few feet of where Potter was lying, and facing Potter with his nose pointing heavenward. "Oh, Jiminy, it's him!" exclaimed both boys in a breath. "Say, Tom, they say a stray dog come howling around Johnny Miller's house 'bout midnight as much as 2 weeks ago, and a whippoorwill came in and lit on the banisters and sung, and that very same evening there ain't anybody dead there yet." "Well, I know that, and I suppose there ain't. Didn't Gracie Miller fall in the kitchen fire and burn herself terrible the very next Sunday?" "Well, I know that, and I suppose there ain't." I gotta stop in just a minute. Burn herself, says she. "Yes, but she ain't dead, and what's more, she's getting better, too." "All right, you wait and see. She's a goner, just as dead sure as Muff Potter's a goner." Then they separated. When Tom crept in at his bedroom window, the night was almost spent. He undressed with excessive caution and fell asleep congratulating himself that nobody knew of his escapade. He was not aware that the gently snoring Sid was awake and had been so for an hour. Guys, I'm going to stop there. I'll be right back.